Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome at the Austrian National Library, also from my side. We are all very much looking forward to the coming 2 days. And there have been a number of Europeana conferences and events during the last 3 years, but this is really the first main Europeana event, which is mainly geared towards a technical community. And we opened the registration for this event this June, and already after 1.5 weeks we had to close registration again because we had already reached the maximum number of participants which we can accommodate in these rooms here. And I think this quite significant interest in the topic of the conference indicates that Europeana has succeeded in one of its main strategic goals, and this is not only to aggregate cultural content and then, of course, to distribute this content, but this is also to act as a facilitator for technical innovation and also for knowledge sharing. And I think you all will agree that within the group of projects around Europeana, and you see this is quite a number of projects. Within the last few years, a real group of practitioners, a network of practitioners has been established. And I think what is different to what we had before when digital cultural heritage projects were all a bit dispersed is that we are now working towards a common goal. And this is to build Europeana. And this is not only to feed Europeana with content, but also to establish Europeana as a technical innovator. But there's not only the Europeana group of projects, there's also this beast with a slightly bureaucratic name, I would say, the Council of Content Providers and Aggregators, already mentioned by Jill. And this is really the forum for the stakeholders of the memory institutions. And within the working groups of this council, yes, they act as some kind of a catalyst, I would say, to make, and there's also a technical working group, to make sure that on the one hand, ideas and stuff developed within Europeana are then also pushed back into the institutions. And on the other hand, these groups also serve to ensure that Europeana is still synchronized with the real world. And there's a third institute which I would like to mention here, and this is a quite new one. This is the series of Europeana hackathons, which started last April in the Institute for Sound and Vision in the Netherlands, and has continued since. And these hackathons really bring together the software practitioners, the application developers, to do experiments, to work with Europeana code, with Europeana API, to build sketches, to work out prototypes, or even working applications on top of the Europeana content. And this very well serves as a showcase to show what interesting projects can be built on top of the Europeana collections. The latest of the series of hackathons is just taking place in parallel to this conference here in this library. Started yesterday, and make sure to be here tomorrow afternoon in the closing session when we will give the awards to the most innovative projects which have been hacked yesterday and today. I think Europeana sometimes has to act like a big cruising ship with a limited room to maneuver sometimes. And maybe these hackathons also serve to inject Europeana a bit more of the more agile movements of let's say, a sailing flotilla or a regatta. I would also like to remind you that this year is the final conference of the Europeana Connect project. You should not forget this. And this has been one of the first mainly technical projects around Europeana. and it has been devised together with the Europeana version 1 project, which has been coordinated by the Europeana Foundation. And within the last few years, the two work together a bit like brother and sister, and Europeana Foundation or Europeana being the elder brother. And if you think about the different aspects of such a complex brother and sister relationship, you have quite a telling picture of how our last 2.5 years went on. Europeana Connect achieved quite a lot during the last 2.5 years in quite different areas. And there's not time yet to go into detail here, of course. You see it here popping up on the screen and many of those things will be showcased or demonstrated in the conference or outside in the marketplace. What also has to be said, I think that in the close collaboration between Europeana Foundation, Europeana and Europeana Connect, also a set of tools, a set of workflow has been established on how Europeana works together with external software development groups, how this can be managed. And I think this can also be taken on by other projects contributing to Europeana. What we learned at Europeana Connect is that building stuff for a real operational service, and this is what Europeana is, really means concentrating on building real stuff for a real thing with a real user group and also real business requirements. And this is quite often different to building prototypes and building proof of concepts, which are often in the center of European projects. So this requires a different project culture. But what we also learned that is that whatever the quality of your code is, however cool the software is you are building, there's still no guarantee that you will be able to enter the playground, that your applications can be integrated into Europeana. This might simply be due to policy reasons or business requirements. But still, this might be taken up by others in the community, by other institutions, by other projects who will then develop this further. And this is what I meant when I was talking about Europeana as a facilitator in the digital cultural area. Just to close, in this conference here, we have several key groups assembled. We have many representatives from Europeana groups. We have the domain experts from the memory institutions, and we also have the group of software developers. And I think this is a skill set which really should allow us to move on with something which has been developed in Work Package 3 of the Europeana version 1 project, which just ended last week, and which really assembled a group of experts in the technical area, and which was all about networking and knowledge transfer in the technical area. This group was instrumental, for example, for devising the Europeana data model, for bringing Europeana into the linked open data network. And we have a quite important activity under the new version 2 project, which just starts this week. And we have an activity under Work Package 7, which is again about community building and really to reinforce working together with the technology experts, with the practitioners, also with the software developers. This means with the people here in this room with you, in order to foster research groups around Europeana, to foster open source development around Europeana. And yes, and this is the group of we really want to work with in the next years, and you are all invited to join us tomorrow at the kick-off for this activity in the plenary session tomorrow afternoon. Yes, I just would like to remind you that most of the talks here are video streamed and will be put online after the conference, so if you miss a parallel session, you can still watch it afterwards. And be sure to visit the marketplace outside this room, where results of European projects will be showcased. And if it's all too much for you, we also have a chill-out area where you can relax and regain your batteries. And be also sure to visit the State Hall this afternoon. It's a great library hall. And enjoy the conference and the nice weather in Vienna. Thank you very much for your attention.